Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today it gives me great pleasure to welcome back one of our sisters coming in all the way from the UK. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to the tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Hello, I'm Paula Fenegan, and I'm coming to you today from Honiton, which is in Devon in the UK, the southwest part of the UK. I met Gertrude a couple of years ago on LinkedIn, and she very kindly invited me to my story. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about my story today. For over 30 years, I was in the airline industry. I absolutely loved it. It was my childhood dream to fly, to be able to visit all these different cultures. And I was very lucky I got to do it. I got to fly long haul with two of the biggest airlines in the UK. It was amazing, great fun. A lot of hard work because you have to work your way around the world. You're not sat down, which was great fun. However, over time, I suddenly became aware the jet lag, the heaviness in the body. You really, really have to look after yourself. You either become a vitamin pusher or you end up having to go down you sort of the alcohol and everything else route to keep yourself going. And it really inspired me seeing how different people's cultures, how they valued their self-care, how they did it compared to what we did in the UK. And I learned a lot from that. And it made me want to dive deeper, particularly into the nutrition side of things. Reflexology, I became fascinated with that. And I qualified in all of those, and it was great. And then as I got to midlife, as we all do, I suddenly became aware of how important that natural side of things, the natural support was to the body, because if you don't support yourself in that way, you're really going to struggle. So I was so grateful for the study that I had done that I was able to help myself through that. I saw so many of my colleagues either end up with chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, where they were just pushing their bodies and trying to keep going and trying to keep going. And when you add menopause on top of that, they were seriously struggling. So I was so glad that I was able to learn the nutrition, and put it all into place. And now I'm able to help people with what I've learned. And I've come up with a protocol called the Menopause Compass that encompasses all four areas that we really need to support ourselves, just in life generally, but particularly in menopause. It will cover nutrition, it'll cover your exercise, it'll cover your self-care, which nobody does, and it will also cover your mental well-being, which is so important for a happy, healthy life. So that's me, and that's where I'm from, and this is where I'm going. Would you like me to tell you some more, Gertrude? Are you okay?
Yes, I was looking for my 10 minutes, but that's okay.
Oh,
We can
10, sorry. I've condensed it down so much over the time. I could do it in like a short period of time. It's like, how much do you want to know? I've been flying for years.
actually let's go into the Q&A and we will pull a lot more information out that way.
Mhm.
First of all, start off with your backstory, right? With
Okay.
you taking us all the way from the beginning and your personal journey into natural health and well-being.
Okay.
How did that all come about?
How did it all come about?
Mm.
I think I was born in this world with a thirst for knowledge, and I'd always had something intrinsic in me has always sort of said there must be a natural way of doing this. You know, if I was flying and I was starting to get a headache, if I wasn't drinking enough water, then yes, I probably would take a headache tablet, but it's not a natural go-to for me. My gut instinct says there must be a natural way of doing things. But I kind of got into natural health in an unusual way, actually. It was after my first son was born, and I was working for British Airways at the time, and they were only just starting to get crew coming back, because back then you were like, once you had your children, that just wasn't the job that you carried on doing. However, they did a thing called working parents, so it was helping people get back into work, because suddenly you are a mum and you're a cabin crew member, and these are poles apart. So it's how do you deal with your mindset, everything else. And this girl gave us a talk on nutrition, and a light bulb just went off in my head. And I'm like, this makes, and she did it very much from a working with the body, a natural point of view. And it just made so much sense. And my
Mm.
son at that point, when he was about 14 months old, they thought it was asthma. We now know it wasn't. It was probably like a little bit of an irritation. I think there were other issues going on that might have caused it. And
Yeah.
I found that when I went down the nutrition route, when I went and I spoke initially to a homeopath, and working with the body, and then looking at nutrition, take out any enemas or anything else that were there, being
Yes.
aware of the sugars. He was just so much better. And it was just like, this makes so much sense. So then I
Yeah.
started to dive deeper and go, I need to know more about that. I've always had an inquisitive nature. So I'm like, tell me why that works. And then it's just progressed and progressed, and from there, and then it's all multi-layered. And I'm like, I hear about something, and then I'm like, I'm off down a rabbit hole and go, I need to learn why that works.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, you've spoken openly about going through menopause without
Mhm.
medical intervention.
Yeah.
What was that experience like, and what did it teach you about your body?
I think I was very fortunate because I was aware of good supplementation, and a good diet. You couldn't always have a good diet flying. I had to kind of prep food before I went on the flight, and it wasn't always easy. There would be times it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to fight you for the chocolate because there's nothing else on board. But I'm not going to beat myself up for that. But I think going into it, I had a better baseline to start off with.
Yes.
I was aware of omega-3 oils. I was aware of having a good multivitamin and things, and vitamin C and stuff, because I was flying, and you're in an aluminium tube at 37,000 feet. It's not on top of a fuel tank. It's not the healthiest place to work, really, is it? So I think I had a good baseline going in. I think it's only now looking back, how I can chart how I did go through the perimenopause. I wasn't fully aware quite what it was. I saw more colleagues that were struggling more. They had lots of hot flushes, a lot of anxiety. In hindsight, I did have low mood. I did have a little bit of anxiety, but I just thought that was because I liked to work in a particular position on the aircraft. I was up in upper class, so I like to be in the galley. So if I wasn't in the galley, I was a bit stressed, and I'm like, yeah, but I think that was a bit of anxiety kicking in. But what I did
Yes.
notice was, I didn't get hot flushes. I didn't ever have hot flashes. Yeah, I did have a little bit of a low mood, but I looked after my body. I did exercise. And this
Mm.
is no way in any judgment of anyone else, because we all go through it in a different way. But
Yeah.
those that loved their sugars, loved their caffeine, and really loved their drink struggled more. So
Yes.
it was interesting to be able to see that. And, you know, working with people now, I look and I go, I completely understand why you go there.
Yeah.
They're your crutches. Completely understand that.
Wow.
But they're not going, you think they're helping you, but actually they're not.
Now you've created something beautiful and practical, the
Hmm.
wellness compass. Can
Yep.
you walk us through what it is and
Yep.
how it all came to life?
Yes, it was fascinating, actually. A colleague of mine, who ironically is another Paula, the synchronicities between the two of us are phenomenal. So we were destined to work together. She's more the exercise expert. I'm more the nutrition and the reflexology and the sort of holistic side. And she's perimenopause, I'm post. So we both speak from a place that we know.
Yeah.
She's always very positive. And we're like, there must be a way that we can bring well-being predominantly into the corporate workplace, but also to be able to help women generally. And we came
Mhm.
up with a compass, because a compass is so easy to remember in your head. And it's
Yeah.
your direction, isn't it? When you're trying to navigate the menopause map, you need a compass.
Yes.
So, and it's just like, okay, so where's true north? So with the acronym of, you know, the north, south, east, and west, north would be nourish. So it's really important to nourish your body, and how you nourish your body in menopause is going to be completely different to what you do normally. You're going to need extra proteins and things like that. But nourishing your body, not only physically, but mentally as well. But physically, you really, really need to help yourself at that time. Really important. And that's where you're going to look to supplementation, because we just don't have the nutrients in the soil. The soil is just not there. So you're going to have to help yourself, but it's targeted. Then we've got E for exercise, or energize, as my colleague Paula likes to say. Exercise is fundamentally one of the best things that you can do for your health. It's good for your brain. It gives your brain miracle grow, if you like, for the brain, which is like a plant food, we call it, but I call it miracle grow for the brain. So that's really going to support that, which is going to starve off any long-term degenerative diseases. So exercise really, really counts. But you want targeted exercise at that time. You don't want to be doing hardcore cardio, because you're just going to stress your body. So it's knowing which exercise is appropriate for you at that time. S would be your self-care. Self-care is the one that nobody does, because everybody believes that self-care is selfish. It's not selfish, it's essential. And particularly as a woman in midlife, you are the sandwich generation. So you have probably got elderly parents, you've probably got teenagers. Good luck if you have with teenagers going through menopause, and you're stuck in the melee. You're probably working full time as well, and you're probably doing the bulk of the stuff around the house. So self-care is really, really important. So self-care, it can be going and have a bath and what have you, and peace and quiet, but not everybody's got time to do that. Self-care is taking time for you to do things that support you to help you de-stress. So if that means walking, if that means going for yoga, what have you, you really, really need to find ways to de-stress, because stress is 70% of all illness in the body. So stress, self-care goes without saying, it's essential. And then we come to W, but W is an M upside down, isn't it? So that's mental well-being, because from a mental point of view, we tend to look at the world from an outside in instead of from the inside out. Your mental well-being is fundamental to your life, because mindset trumps everything. If you believe you're not good enough, you won't be good enough. Your brain will find ways to prove you right. So your mental well-being is really important, to be able to put boundaries in place, which women are notoriously bad at doing, because we're conditioned in our culture, in our society, to do everything for everyone else and put ourselves last. Well, you can't pour from an empty cup. You need to support your mental well-being, because you want to move forward into your 50s in midlife. I mean, you could have another 30 odd years post menopause.
Yes.
So you want 30, do you want 30 years of health? I do. I want to open the door and go, ka-ching. I haven't got the children to be looking after all the time now. I haven't got any of the monthly periods. Bring it on. What can I do now? Because that could be your best chapter yet.
Oh,
But you've got to have the right mindset. And you don't want to disappear, as too many people do when they get into that time of life. So that compass is big for a woman in midlife, but that compass can be used across all genders, across all walks of life, because those 4 areas are intrinsic to good health. So if things aren't going right in life, if you go back to the compass and you see which one of those areas you're not doing, then that's the one you need to work on.
that's where you have to focus. And I do love the analogy, the metaphor of a compass. They say that if you set a ship on a course without a destination, will it ever get there? So unless you have the coordinates, the direction on which way to go,
Yep.
you're just fumbling, really. You'll never really get to the other side of menopause. I absolutely love
Exactly that.
it.
And from an airline point of view, if you're just 1 degree out, if you carry on that 1 degree out, which is like 1%, isn't it? By the time you get to, you're aiming to go to New York. If you carry on 1 degree out, you're going to end up in LA. You're going to end up in completely the wrong destination, just from
Yes.
being a tiny, tiny bit out. But
Yeah.
a compass, you always correct it, don't you? It's not I go from there to there. You go. That's where you're aiming to go, but
Yeah.
it's the bits you learn along the way that might tweak it to a different destination.
And make a difference.
Hmm.
My gosh. So why do you think so many women struggle with burnout and hormone imbalance in midlife?
Uh-huh.
And what does nutrition really play in all of this?
Well, I like to think nutrition is fundamental. You put the right fuel in a car, the car will take you where it needs to go. You wouldn't put diesel in a petrol car willingly, except if you're my mum and you do it by mistake twice. But you wouldn't willingly do that because you know the car's not going to work. So we forget that nutrition into our body, nutrition is information. Your cells, your 50 to 60 trillion cells are made up from what you put in it.
Yeah.
So if you put in, junk food, I have a saying that I say, if all you put into your body is junk, then you'll get to drive an old banger. If you nourish your body, you get to drive a Ferrari.
Oh, I love it.
So it
Love
is
it.
fundamentally important because we need the mineral, vitamins and minerals are essential. Vitamins vital, so that's why we need them, but you need the minerals to activate them. So the minerals help you make your happy hormones, your serotonin, your melatonin, things like that. Serotonin is your happy hormone. Well, 80 to 90% of that is made in your gut. If your gut is not functioning properly, you're not going to be able to create that. So happy gut, happy brain.
Yes.
If you fundamentally are not operating at a good level, and it's not about being perfect. I don't believe in that. Perfection doesn't exist. It's a kind of 80-20 rule. So if 80% of the time you're following a way of eating, because I don't like the word diet, because diet gets construed into all different things, a
It
way of
does.
eating that supports your body to be able to do what you want to do, great. So that the 20% that's left, well, you can have that night out with your friends, or you can have that one, Fridays or whatever is treat day, so long as you're nourishing your body in the main. But I
Yeah.
think for too long, we are the generation that, as I said, is the sandwich generation, because we're the first generation dealing with synthetic hormones. So,
Mm.
a lot of the women would have been on the pill, which is a synthetic hormone, which is going to change your endocrine system. And that's no judgment, because, we do what we need to do. But you've had synthetic hormones. We have a lot of plastics, which again mimic our hormones.
Yes.
We're probably not drinking enough water. We've got Wi-Fi and everything, and there's stress on top. So that's why we struggle, because we've got all these outside pressures that perhaps our previous generations never had. So there are more sort of elements in there now. And our food is so adulterated. Well, if you're a stressed mum and you're going through perimenopause and you're having to, you know, pick the kids up from here, take them there, you've got elderly parents, you've got a full-time job, you're going to crave easy foods. You're going to crave the sugars because it's the easiest way to get energy into the body, and you need energy. You're fighting biology.
So how does your compass model work in a corporate setting? And what's the reaction when you bring these conversations into the workplace?
The corporate setting, even that is because they want quick answers, really, don't they? They want to be able to minimize illness, time off, leave, because obviously that's costing them more money. And it's quite interesting for them because we can do it into short sessions of just do 2 of the areas of the compass first. And it's always a good idea to do the nutrition and the exercise, because that's where they see the biggest difference. So to be able to say to people, okay, so you're sat down at your desk for 6, 7, or 8 hours. Paula's able to show them some easy to do exercises seated that they can do to get it in, to just put it into their day. Because what they don't want is to be able to be taking colleagues and everything away from the desk for half an hour at a time. Yes, you can do lunch and learns, which they really like, because they need to be short, sharp, and able to attain it. So from a nutrition point of view, it's like, okay, I'm craving this, but I've really got to get this work done. So what sort of snacks can I eat that are going to support my focus through the day? So if you get those two, and that they really enjoy that and understand it, then you can go back to do, okay, let's do the more difficult ones, which is the self-care and the mental well-being, because they're more emotions based. And that's not an easy one for people to look at and to change, because that takes longer. And that takes a lot more self-awareness and going deeper that people aren't always open to doing. So those kind of ones, which you would do a second time, they're kind of penny drops, but they're ones for people to understand this is what you've got to work on and take away. But yeah, fascinating to be able to do it.
So what do you want every woman who's listening, especially those over 40, to know about their bodies, their power, and their potential?
I want them to know that they are the best doctor of their own body. They know if they truly sit back and get quiet, they will understand what is going on within their body. Now, that's not to say that they can't have any HRT, because some people it works for, some people it doesn't. And I'm of the belief I didn't need it, but we're all different, and different people are at different stages of their life. All I would say is, if you don't do the compass and you have the HRT, it's not going to work long term, because you're not supporting yourself. This really is a transition. It's a portal, if you like, into another world where you can live happily, you can live healthily, and you understand what's going on in your body. And when you understand your body and you support it, you know when to push it, you know when to relax, or when you need rest. And when you do that, you're in your power. You can take on and do anything, but you have to believe. And you can only believe in yourself and believe in what you can do when you listen. So you need to support it physically to be able to understand it emotionally.
So if someone listening is exhausted, overwhelmed, and reaching for quick fixes, where should they start?
The first one that I like to say, which is an easy one to do, you need to start with water. If you are dehydrated, which most of us are, your physical capacity is going to be reduced by at least, if you're dehydrated by 2%, your physical capacity is dehydrated by 20%. So everything will seem so much harder. You'll be more tired and what have you. A lot of the time you may be tired and exhausted, but it might be that you're dehydrated at the bottom of it. So start with the easy one. Start with the water.
Yes.
Then I would then, after water, I would diet. You know, nutrition's a tricky one, isn't it? Because everybody's different. If you start with water, I like to get magnesium in, because magnesium is supportive of so many things within the body. It's over 200 different parts in the body that will need that magnesium. It's calming. But you'd have to look at what people are doing. If you can start with the water, and then I would aim to, how would I do it? I'd probably aim to look to the sugars, look to see what you're craving and see if you can swap it for healthier things. But do just one thing. You can't do too much. You know, 3 things is the maximum, whether good or bad, that the brain can keep there and do. But as soon as you try to take something away, you will instinctively crave it, because you've put it in your head and said, but you've told me I can't have it. Well, it's like a child. If I say you can't have an ice cream, you've got an ice cream in your head. What do you want? You want it. So it's kind of putting it in such a way that I want to do this. I want to nourish it. So get your water in, but embed that habit in. So you stack it onto another habit. Then you can look to your diet, but then start with one thing, which would be, let's look at breakfast. Let's get your breakfast set you up for the day. So if you start with protein, you're going to be on a calmer level, more full up for longer. If you start with coffee and caffeine, you're going to go energy up, energy drop, and you're going to be on a roller coaster all day. So water first, and then a good breakfast.
I love it. Now, my last 2 questions for you are a bit of a thought experiment. In the first one, I'm going to teleport you back into the past.
Yep.
We're going to meet the younger you, the woman who was on the brink of menopause, not knowing how she's going to navigate it and what she should do.
Mm-hmm.
If we could go back and you could give her 3 nuggets of wisdom based on what life has taught you up until this point, what would those 3 nuggets of wisdom be?
Oh, you do like to ask tricky ones, don't you? If I was on the boat just starting out, I would say listen to your body. There's plenty of information out there, but listen to your body and see what resonates with you from what other people have told you, and go with what your gut tells you to do, not what someone else on a podcast or what have you has told you. So self-belief and self-knowledge is number 1. Number 2, I would say find an exercise that you enjoy and you like to do, because it's going to help you in the long run. And that's coupled with nutrition. And then I would say find a group of people that uplift you and keep you going, because community and connection are going to be your North Star going through this, because other people will probably be able to give you, sort of not ad hoc advice, but that, you'll learn from others and you can uplift each other. And I think that's what a lot of women need at this time, because they become very insular, and you need that connection around you.
Yeah, the community piece, I think, is really important. You don't feel like you're on your own. You don't feel like you're struggling.
Yep.
You have others around you to support you. It makes a big, big, big difference.
It does. To pull someone else up when they're down, and you to be able to pull them up and go, there's no judgment. We've all been there. There's no harm in that. Society has us saying we've got to be all happy and Pollyanna, and life's not like that.
Life doesn't work like that.
Oh, no.
Let's go now into the future.
Yep.
We're going to go and meet the 90-year-old you. She's sitting in her rocking chair, surrounded by her children, her grandchildren.
Mhm.
It was with you at the end. If I could teleport you back,
Yeah.
forward into the
Yeah, yeah.
future,
Yeah, yeah.
what would you say to this wise woman when you finally meet her?
What, the 90-year-old self? What would I say to her?
Yes.
Oh, what would I say to the 90-year-old self? If I could go there now, I'd be, oh gosh, that's a tricky one, isn't it? What would I say to her? A thank you. Thank you for having the belief and knowledge to go where you have. Thank you for showing us that actually being in your 90s is not holding you back in any way. You're still agile. You can still get down with the children and run around and play. You emulate what women can be in that time, that you can be just as helpful, society, knowledgeable. Age is no barrier.
I love it. I love it. I love asking women that last question because sometimes we also forget that the wise woman is already in us. She's already here.
Mm-hmm.
She's that quiet voice that tells you to advocate for women's rights. She's that quiet voice that tells you to go left, go right, say yes, say no. But we look outside of ourselves for answers and solutions. And I think throughout this podcast, you've kept saying your body speaks to you. You have to tune in and listen.
Mm-hmm.
As women, we don't trust ourselves enough.
Yes.
So thank you for reflecting that back to us, Paula. Absolutely awesome to have you back on the show. Always learn so much every time I connect with you.
Oh, Gertrude, every time I meet you, it's such a pleasure. And I learn so much from you. Thank you.
And thank you to everybody who tuned in today. The Her Story Circle is not just a podcast. We're a social impact movement that brings you the stories and voices of women from all over the world. We share our stories to uplift you, inspire you, energize you, but most importantly, to take you from where you are now to where you're trying to go. So if you are a woman who is on the brink of menopause or you know someone who is struggling, please reach out to Paula. We've got her website at the bottom of the screen. You don't have to do this alone. There's a community of women who can uphold you and support you as you go into the best part of your life that is yet to come. I'll be back again tomorrow, everybody, with yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And Paula, thanks again for the interview.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you very much.
Everybody, don't go away, Paula.
Okay.
Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story. Thank you so much.